So today I'm going to be doing a wrap up of all the books that I read in June. And I read only 3 books, which is not good at all, but regardless, I'm going to talk about them, and they were all pretty interesting. I feel like they were more standout in my brain because I only read 3 and I was able to read them for like a longer period of time. So these are all the books that I read in June. The first book is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I remember seeing this because it had like a lot of TikTok or Goodreads hype because people were saying it was like a really good YA fantasy, and it takes place in this world where there's like a forest on the outskirts of some town, and if you somehow go near it or something, you'll get like infected by the fog, and then you will get like magical powers. But then the ruler doesn't want those people to have like the uncontrolled power because they don't understand it. So then they kill or like put the people who get infected into the dungeon, and they all are going to get killed. And the main character, this girl named Elspeth, she gets infected, but she's part of a really wealthy family. So then her father is actually like the general of all of the people who are supposed to be going around killing the infected people. So then she gets like a pass because he keeps her secret, and she's just really secluded, and she doesn't really meet with anyone, and no one really knows that she is infected. So her whole thing is that she's just really trying to go through life like without people knowing that she's infected. And her infection is that like when she touched, so the whole thing is also like a deck of cards. So there's like a ton of different cards for each of the 12 cards, and there's a whole set, and then when you collect all of them you get like the power to do something really good. And the whole thing is that as soon as she touched one of the nightmare cards that was like her uncle's, I think, she like gets the power of the nightmare, but then it is inside her heads. And the thing is that there's also like a cost for all the magic that they use with the cards, so whenever they use it or something, they will always get like something taken away from them, or like they'll get hurt in return. So there's kind of like a cost system with magic. So now her whole thing is that she just is trying to like not get caught, but then something happens, and then she learns about a plot of all of the royal family trying to overtake the king, and by doing that they're trying to find the cards before he does, because he's also trying to find the whole set so he can get like the power. And Elspeth is tasked to help them. It's kind of like overthrowing the government because it's corrupt, and I feel like that doesn't sound that interesting because we've seen this before in YA fantasy so much, and there's obviously like kind of an enemies to lovers. I didn't find the romance to be that distracting. I feel like it was slower and didn't take up as much of the book as usual YA fantasies, so I like that. But I do think that the plot was simple, I guess. I feel like there was really one clear goal, and there weren't that many plot twists except for like very much near the end. I was kind of like in between thinking retrospect, but while reading it I really did like the writing style. I think that's definitely what saved it because it felt more mature than the usual YA fantasies, and also I feel like it was very lyrical, and she was really able to immerse you into the world, and there's so many interesting things to read about. But I just don't think the plot was the most action-packed. But I still enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm going to continue it because it's a duology. But yeah, that was One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read is an arc that I got from NetGalley, and I really wasn't expecting to get this because Holly Jackson's a really popular author, but I got Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson, and I think this is her first adult novel. It's a mystery about this woman named Jet, and she lives in this really small town, and on the day of Halloween her and her parents have like a booth, and they ask her to put the chairs away when the Halloween fair is over, and she refuses, and she goes to her house, and when she goes to her house she eats this cookie from her sister-in-law, and then she greets her little dog and she walks into her bedroom, and then this person hits her on the head or something, and she's presumed dead. That is until she wakes up in the hospital and she's like, I am gonna solve my own murder, because she has like a brain trauma now, and then she only either has the option to undergo a surgery with a 10% rate of success, and or like go and live her life as normal, but know that she only has like around 1 week to live. So she takes the option to live for 1 week without the surgery, and then now she's just investigating who killed her. And it's a small town with a lot of secrets. Everyone is connected. What I liked about this book was the setting. I think that Holly Jackson does like a small town in the fall time that's kind of like eerie and suspicious really well. She did that in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And I also liked the dynamics between the characters. I feel like they were pretty interesting to read about. What I didn't really like, or not what I didn't really like, but like what didn't wow me as much, was Jet. I feel like Jet as a character, I know she has a lot of development, but I just didn't sympathize with her that much in the beginning, because she treats her parents really badly, even though she's like unemployed and living in her house. And I know that like they have a lot of problems, but I just didn't really like her that much as a character, except for near the end. And because of that, it just felt kind of boring, because I felt like we were skirting around the same people, because it's such a small town, and at some points it becomes kind of obvious like they are all so suspicious. But usually whenever I read Holly Jackson's books, I'm not able at all to kind of find the ballpark of the killer. But this one, I think I got pretty close. I felt like I got the like decent range. So then because of that, it just wasn't the most like shocking twist. It just felt like, oh, like this is who it was. But I still liked it, and I really did like her writing. I feel like the difference between her adult writing and then her YA writing is that she focuses more on the setting, and obviously the characters are more mature, but I preferred this writing from her instead of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So yeah, that is Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. I feel like it was a pretty decent book. I would recommend if you're looking for a thriller, but it wasn't my favorite out of all of the books that I read for her so far, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. The final book that I read in June is Cross the Line by Simone Sultani. This is like an F1 romance, and I read that because it was F1, and I just want to say that that is not a very big part in it. I don't know, it's like more downplayed, but it's about this girl named Willow, and she is childhood friends with this F1 driver named Dev, and her brother, this guy named Oakley, her older brother, is best friends with Dev. And after college, she's struggling to get a job, and then she somehow meets up with Dev on like a business trip in which Oakley invited her to, and he decides that she should become like his social media manager, because he had like a social mishap and he needs like his Instagram up and running, I guess, so that he can get brand deals. And she agrees, of course, because she's unemployed, and they just have a romance from there. And I will say that in the beginning I was kind of excited for it, because it felt like things were moving very fast and the writing style was pretty easy to get through, and it just gets so boring and repetitive, because like at 30% you already know that these two are gonna get together, and the one main thing, or like the few main things that are keeping them apart, is that Willow works for Dev. So it's like weird if she gets with her boss, because then like everyone's gonna be like, oh, like you just slept your way to this job. And that Oakley will not approve of Willow and Dev, because Willow was like dating one of his friends before, and they had a big fallout that broke the friend group apart. So then she's like, okay, Oakley will not want me to date Dev, and Dev's like, yeah, Oakley has told me off, like we can't do this. And I mean, like, those are like real issues, but it just is not discussed at all deeper than the surface. And they have these constant worries about like the issues, but they're literally the same issues and the same worries over and over and over again. And then that's just so repetitive, so at that point I'm just bored. And then the same thing with like their romantic feelings for each other. I feel like it just never changed at all because they always wanted each other, and from the beginning we always knew like these few things were keeping them apart, and then we cycled back and forth and back and forth where it's like, I want to be with you, I know I can't, I want to be with you, I know I can't. And that just made the characters so boring because I feel like there was no development in any of those like topics. In the get-go you knew what you were signing up for, and it never changes from there, so it just felt so average to me. And I feel like how Willow was scared of Oakley figuring out that she was dating his best friend, it just felt like sometimes a little too juvenile because like these are full-blown adults. And I feel like at the end when like everything gets found out, it was just such a weird way to do it because I'm not gonna spoil it, but it was just like really unnecessary and it felt so anticlimactic. And I was literally like, I didn't care about this couple at all when they got together. I really just couldn't care less. And I don't know, it just felt so boring and I guess monotonous. But I don't know, I just did not enjoy it very much. It was kind of long too. It just felt like you have to be in love with these characters and you have to find them really interesting and compelling if you want to enjoy this book. And even though the most interesting things for me was like Dev has some drama with his team, and that was what kind of kept me going, but even then that was really just such a small part that I was like, I don't know if this was my time. I considered DNFing a lot. I don't know why I didn't, but yeah, it was just really not that fun. I don't know, I wasn't enjoying it very much. And it was really weird too because like in the epilogue we get a major plot point and like there's actually so much action going on. Like the most action in the entire book is this really long chapter with the epilogue, and I just don't know why it's there in the first place. I feel like it just kind of offset the whole vibe because I was like, why do we have this and why is it actually such a big plot point? But yeah, I don't really know. I just didn't feel that interested in the book while I was reading it. It was just kind of boring. So I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. And those are all of the 3 books that I read in June. I hope to read more in July, so I'm looking forward to it.